The demand for a caste survey in Tamil Nadu is gaining momentum, especially after Karnataka launched a second socio-economic survey. But the Tamil Nadu government, led by the DMK, is advocating for a caste census instead. Why is there this difference of opinion? And what exactly is the debate between a caste census and a caste survey? Vanakkam. This is T. Suresh Kumar. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the Hindu Focus Tamil Nadu. Over the past few years, support for a caste enumeration in Tamil Nadu has been building across the political spectrum. From long-standing parties like the AIDMK and the PMK to new players like actor Vijay's Tamalaga Vetri Kalagam, everyone is on board. Now, with neighboring Karnataka kicking off its second socio-economic survey in a decade, PMK leader Anbumani is calling for Tamil Nadu to follow suit. This demand comes despite the union government's decision earlier this year to conduct a nationwide caste count as part of the 2027 census. But the PMK's push is not a new one. In fact, back when the AIDMK was in power, it set up the Justice A. Kulashekaran Commission to look into caste-based data in Tamil Nadu following the PMK's demand for a 20% exclusive quota for the one-year community. However, this effort lost steam once the DMK, led by MK Stalin, took office and chose not to extend the commission's tenure. Advocates of a caste survey also point to states such as Bihar and Telangana, where similar exercises have already been completed. But here is where the ruling DMK draws the line in Tamil Nadu. Chief Minister Stalin is a strong votary of a nationwide caste census rather than a state level survey. In fact, last year, the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly passed a unanimous resolution calling on the union government to include caste data in the national census. Stalin also wrote to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, arguing that accurate caste data is essential for designing policies that ensure social justice and equitable opportunities. The TMK believes only a nationwide caste enumeration would carry the legal and political weight to bring about real change. Stalin has said understanding the scale of injustice is the first step to remedying it, and only a centralized caste census can produce the legally binding data needed for targeted welfare and social justice. Here is where the debate gets more complex. The PMK, along with some other parties, argues that Tamil Nadu can legally conduct its own caste survey under the Collection of Statistics Act 2008. But State Law Minister Raghupati disagreed, pointing out that the Census Act could override this. Stalin has echoed this concern, warning if data is collected without the union government's authority, it could be legally challenged and even struck down. At the heart of this issue is the constitutional division of power. The union government has exclusive authority to collect population data, including caste, under the Census Act. The 2008 Act does allow states to collect socio-economic data, but it does not clearly authorize states to collect population data. Stalin even pointed out this matter is pending before the Supreme Court. Now, historically speaking, Tamil Nadu is not new to caste data collection. Back in the 1980s, the state conducted a survey through the Second Backward Classes Commission, then headed by J.A. Ambasankar, an IAS officer. However, this exercise was mired in controversy, with a majority of the commission's members disagreeing with Ambashankar's findings over the inclusion and exclusion of certain communities from the backward classes list. Fast forward to 2021, the AIADMK government used the same report to grant 10.5% internal reservation for the one-year community within the 20% MPC quota. But the Supreme Court struck it down, citing outdated data. So, when we talk about a caste survey today, the issues of data credibility and legal validity are key concerns. Supporters of a caste census argue caste is still a deeply rooted social reality in India and reliable data is crucial. It is not just about representation, it's about ensuring affirmative action reaches the right communities. Now, without updated data, there's a risk of misallocating resources or even excluding deserving groups from welfare schemes. However, critics caution a caste census could lead to social divisions, administrative challenges, and even fuel demands for more quotas, deepening caste based politics. Some within the BJP, like Tamil Nadu President Nayanar Nagendran, have called for greater coordination between the centre and states, pointing out that caste classifications can vary from region to region. For example, what's considered OBC in Tamil Nadu might be listed as MPC in the neighbouring union territory of Puducherry. As the PMK continues to push for a state level caste survey, Union Minister Prahlad Joshi, opposing Karnataka's exercise, has reiterated that only the union government has the legal authority to conduct a caste census. According to him, any state led census would lack legal validity. Historically, the British censuses from 1881 to 1931 in India had recorded the caste data. However, since then, only the scheduled castes and tribes have been officially enumerated. The 2011 nationwide socio-economic and caste census was a more recent attempt, but it was poorly executed and the results were never made public. Now, with the union government deciding to include caste data in the decennial census of 2027, some argue it might be best to wait for this comprehensive, legally validated data. This could provide a more solid foundation for future policy making, including potential reforms to the communal reservation system in Tamil Nadu. While the demand for a caste survey is understandable, especially with Tamil Nadu's historical role in caste data collection, the question of legal authority and data validity cannot be overlooked. In the end, the focus should be on ensuring that any exercise, whether a census or survey, results in credible data that can lead to real, lasting change. On that note, this is T. Suresh Kumar signing off. I shall meet you in another video. Thank you.